It's 7:40. Let's do this. Because that stuff rubs off on you. The people that we meet, the people that we hang out with, help shape who we are. That's all part of the neighborhood. Good evening, Hampton Roads and Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. Oh, Marco's Pizza. I hear they're giving away cheesy bread. It's true, just for a few more days, and you have to watch this program. It's kind of helpful because we like to give away some special deals. If you use the promo code, the bottom right, WTKR Cheesy, you don't even have to buy anything. How sweet is that? First 100 only at the contest stores you see listed over here. 3 in Virginia Beach, 1 in the Greenbrier neighborhood, there's the neighborhood, Chesapeake, Kempsville Road, and 1 in Norfolk, Hampton Boulevard. And all you have to do, it's not super hard, all you have to do is go to this website right here. I'm going to circle it for you, WTKR.com. That's our website, /Marcos, and we're going to be giving away free pizza for a year. That's kind of cool. That's not for real. It is for real. Maybe you want a lunch item, Pizzoli, my favorite. They're the pepperoni and sausage with the dipping sauce. But the pepperoni magnifico, the one topping pizza, by the way, is in fact going to be given away. We're going to give 1 large, 1 topping pizza monthly for the next year for free. That announcement is going to be tomorrow. We've already given 20 of these away. 10 winners last week, 10 winners the next week or previous week. So that's where things stand. But I come back on camera because we have a lot of weather to talk about. If you're interested in weather, you've come to the right place. I'm going to cover everything in detail that I think is important to know. And we'll start with your weather and then my Mayberry. We'll talk about what it was like growing up in my neighborhood because I know some of you really liked your childhood in your Mayberry, your town. It may not be the same, but it does include this. It includes a little story about the Robin Williams. What? I thought you were talking about Andy Griffith. I was and am. It's all interconnected, right? Kind of like weather. All weather is interconnected. And in this way, if you stay with me toward the end, I hope to have this all explained in great detail. And if you saw last night's episode 13, this is episode 14 of First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. We're going to talk about all that in mere moments. But let's take a look. Mind you, all of the storms we had this afternoon, for the most part, are gone. They're not in our technical TV viewing area anymore. But we did have some hail. How do I know? Because I got little markings. 1, 2. What are those called? We love our acronyms in weather. LSRs. What's LSR? Local Storm Reports. LSRs. And when they often come into the National Weather Service from trained spotters. So let's take a look at those LSRs. What did that look like? It was at 2:33. How's that for precision? Are you sure about that? Yeah, it says hail size was 1 inch. That's the size of a George Washington quarter. Sunbury, the 911 call center reported hail in Sunbury, and I'm kind of curious if you had some type of situation like hail. And 2 minutes later, 2:35, Acorn Hill was reporting dime to marble size hail in Acorn Hill. That was at 2:35. If you're on the call, this would be a fantastic time to check in with me because I want to put your comments on the screen. You mean you can do that? I usually can. I'm getting more proficient with my software. So let's just hope we can do that. And that way, for argument's sake, if you have a comment, I would love to hear from you. This way I can put your name on the screen. You and I could say hi, like Kim. Kim has figured this out. She's very quick on the draw. Love it. And we can also telestrate. Isn't that cool? We'll just go ahead and put Kim's name up there. She's got her face up there. But her comment is, good evening, David. The rain come down hard today, or did come hard today, and it did. And we're going to talk about the value of a forecast. There was not a whole lot of fair warning on this. Another day, maybe, where we're eating crow. You mean weather people do that? Yeah, we do on occasion. There are times where we don't have our whole act together. And today was one of those days because, as I say, it's going to move this map. Yep, so we got a little thunderstorm maybe outside of the TV area. But if we look at this a little more closely, let's do that. Let's just slide this over. What is this severe thunderstorm warning? It includes Edgecombe, Nash, and Wilson until 7:45, and that's about 8 seconds. So this thing may go away, just disappear in a few seconds. But this has been an intense storm, so it's not our viewing area, but if you're watching from Edgecombe, Nash, or Wilson County, it's probably important to you. It'll probably linger, maybe a little bit longer, so we'll get the computer updating here in a moment. But I want to show you this. This is not something you see every day where we had absolutely no fair warning on this until 12:40 this afternoon. Are you telling me this green patch wasn't even on their outlook, wasn't on the radar until 12:40 this afternoon? That means it was after the WTKR news at noon. We didn't have a warning of that level 1 was not in place until that time. So as I've always said previously in my Knoxville platform, the value of a forecast is not just what you say, it's when you say it. I mean, how useful is this at 12:40 in the afternoon when you get hail at 2:33? You had, 2 hours notice? That's not a lot, but it is what it is. And that's where there's always room for improvement. You know what I'm saying? That's where we must focus on. How can we improve? Damaging wind, flooding, large hail, that was the case in some cases today. But now that most of this is winding down, this slow-moving front has been the bugaboo. It's been sticking around a little bit longer than some maybe would have wished it to be. If you've got a comment, leave me a comment. I'll do my best to put you on the screen. I just want to say hi there, put my own comment on there so you know it's me and that it's really easy and it's not hard to do. If you are participating here with us, I would love to see it. So like for example, if you want to put your name and want to interact with me at any point in this conversation, please do. Here's where your name would be. I put my name there and your comment. It's not that hard. It's not really not that hard. Now, a lot of people watch it on delay. They might watch it minutes, hours, or days later, but that's okay. I digress. High pressure is off to the west around Kentucky. You can see that. That's going to nose in here, so most of us are going to be clearing through the night tonight. But look at these rainfall amounts. Manio, we're talking about Manio over here. Look at it. Dare County Regional Airport. That was good timing, Aldrich. 0.3. We've had over a half inch in a Hosky. That's today. That's when we really didn't have an outlook for severe weather until 12:40 this afternoon. But I digress. Look at Chesapeake. Voila! That can't be right. Did Chesapeake Airport pick up 1.61 inches of rain today? They did. But Norfolk, nothing. Well, nothing that was measured, and Edenton, just 0.01. So if you ever had to forecast this, how would you say it? Are you going to get nothing or are you going to get a lot? Well, that's pretty general, but sometimes that's the way it works, right? You have to keep an eye on what's going on to the sky. I got another note here. Someone's fallen asleep to this weather. I don't know. Would that be Damien? Damien Hall, good to see you, my friend. He has some of the most creative emojis that I've been seeing. He didn't put any comment. He just put his little emoji that looks like he's sound asleep. But I'm glad you're here, Damien. And if you wake up and want to talk about something special in your life, let me know. I'll do my best to magnify your voice, because that's what I like to do on this platform. Keep moving, though. 2/10 in Suffolk today. Severe weather looks like it's pretty much muted locally, other than the one we saw around Edgecombe. It looks like they did take that down, that the computer did update. I don't see that orange polygon in that orange area that we saw a moment ago, southwest of Edenton. But there are some nasty storms, maybe around Fayetteville, Military Town. I know that's a big place to watch. Savannah, a couple of thunderstorms in that area. And where we do have severe weather, looks like it's up in Iowa and south toward, looks like Louisiana. Now, they're not in counties, they're in parishes, but it includes parts of Mississippi, it would appear. So they're dealing with what looks like until 7:30 Central Time, 1 inch hail possibly with some of those particular storms. I got to keep moving. It's 7:48. Did I tell you that it's Father's Day weekend? And you go like, yay, I love Father's Day weekend. Somebody like, no, it's not Mother's Day. No, it's not Mother's Day. But some of you are like, Father's Day weekend. If you're a dad, may I say congratulations. Maybe you're a grandfather. Maybe you're a father figure. I didn't think about that. Father-in-law. Yeah, all these things are important. So maybe you celebrate dad or father figures in your life this weekend. We can be more inclusive that way. Why not? 90, 88, that's what I'm anticipating. 60% chance of rain. We're going to be moving into a slow-moving pattern where we lather, we rinse, and we repeat. We're going to do it all in the coming days. This weekend does not look perfect, but then again, last weekend wasn't perfect. Was it? I mean, we got to 90 last Saturday. I'll show you that map in a moment, but we had afternoon storms. Do you know what I'm saying? So it can grow increasingly unstable as the day wears on. Temperatures this morning started off at 72 in Norfolk. We made it to 82. You mean we moved only like 10 degrees? That's it. 10 degrees, but it felt a lot hotter. The record high is 98 and the normal high, 84. So technically, this was another below average day. 7:49, almost 7:50. We're clearing out tonight. Hot, humid, feeling like 90, muggy rest of the week. And more storms, not only on Friday, but again on Saturday and again on Sunday and Monday. You mean you're throwing 4 days under the bus? I kind of am. just because once this next system gets here, there's nothing really to push it out. That's kind of a bummer, especially for outdoor plans for Dad. Dad might be holding an umbrella while he's flipping burgers on the grill. That could be what happens. Anyway, as I digress, the emojis are supposed to look to be, I see some notes here. I got some follow-ups, I think, is coming in from our friend Damien. Let me see here. They were supposed to look like him, he says. Well, I get the picture. I mean, he's got some cool emojis here. I mean, they may not be exactly like you showing up on Facebook, but I don't have the controls of all the algorithms. But it's good to have your note here. And David, we get your smiling face here too. So it's a twofer. Appreciate your support. Now, notice the June highs here in Norfolk. What do you see here? I see that we've now had, if you're playing the home game version, we've had now 4 days above normal, and we've had 7 days below normal. 90 on Saturday was the hot day. And since then, it's just been muggy, right? Current temperature, 80 in Portsmouth, 80 in Norfolk, 77 in Virginia Beach. Dew points are high. I don't understand dew points. It's okay. Most people don't really care about dew points, do they? They don't care if it's rising or falling. They just know that I'm sweating. I'm sweating without hardly trying. It happens. It happens. And to make this illustration even further, we've been around 65 most of the day, and it's going to be closer to 70, 75 in the coming days. So if you thought it was sticky today, wait till tomorrow. Wait till like way out on Saturday and you're going, this is really tough. I don't know. Enough is enough with the humidity. Look at dew points in Virginia Beach, 71. Myrtle Beach, 71. Hatteras, 72. We're more humid than our Columbus, Ohio friends. Or if you have family in Nashville or Louisville, yeah, they're in the 50s, they feel better. Because once you get into that 70 plus, which is where we're headed, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's going to feel oppressive. Current temperature right now in Knoxville. I want to say hello to all my Knoxville friends there because I was here for 15 years and I've been here in the Virginia Beach area now for a little more than 3.5 months. That's true. And one of the things when you look at the nationwide temperatures right now, it is still hot. In Phoenix, they're at 106. Vegas, 106. 79 in Houston, New York City currently at 73 degrees. The future temperatures, which give us a good sense what's going to happen over the next 10 days, shows the hot weather, the pink, the reds in the four corners. That's Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, going to stay very hot. But the coolness may bring us back to Earth. This is after the summer solstice. Summer solstice is Friday the 20th. That is the astronomical start to summer. We should be still pretty warm, if not 80s to near 90 when you see some of those orange coloring there. Lows tomorrow morning, really tonight, upper 60s, low 70s, Cape Charles 72. And Norfolk about 68 or thereabouts. Again, we're going to be talking about the chill that's not here. It's the heat. That's the problem. Winds about 5 to 15 tomorrow. Here's what I expect. Generally, we're looking at 84 degrees at noon, 89 at 4. Mostly sunny. There will be some fair weather cumulus clouds that form in the afternoon. Then a spot of rain may develop, 20% chance or less, but mostly clear. These days are getting longer, so you get a sunset at 8:25. I think that's a bonus. I hope you'll maximize tomorrow because we're not going to see a day like tomorrow again until probably Tuesday. You mean I got to get through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday? Yes, yes, yes. We're going into a holding pattern. First warning. That's what you're telling me. First warning. Oh, did I tell you we're giving away cheesy bread? Yeah. WTKR Cheesy. Please pick up your free cheesy bread. I mean, you could be on Marcos.com right now getting your cheesy bread, watching your forecast. I mean, this is a weather party after all. You can also qualify and want to suggest you go to these 5 locations for not only the contest of free pizza for a year, but also so you can actually get the cheesy bread. That's where you would redeem it. Those locations are participating in the contest. So contest. We're going to be giving away, as many of you know, a free pizza for a year, 1 monthly topping, 1 large pizza a month. Harbor Park tonight, very active. Tomorrow it's a day game. It's the Diamond Day game, so they're going to first pitch is at 12:05. They're playing the Nashville Sounds. I left a 20% chance of rain, but look how they warm up to the upper 80s. It's going to feel humid, but a great day at the park. If you can get some time off tomorrow, I hope maybe you'll head out to Harbor Park and support the Tides. They would appreciate it. I know that there's a lot going on, but if you get some time, you could check out the big game. Oh, yeah, the big game is cool. Now, let's talk about the temperature trend. Keep the comments coming. I love seeing anything that you've got. You want to share them with me, I will magnify your voice. But the temperatures will be near 90 the next 3 days, and of course the heat index will feel like it's more like 90 to 95. That's pretty tough to take. And you can see that we've got 83 on Sunday. That's maybe the cooler day, but today was 82, right? It's academic when you have the high dew points and it feels a lot hotter. This is the map I think you're going to have a hard time digesting, right? Because if you got plans, and we live for the weekend around here, we got beaches, we got the Chesapeake Bay, we got the beautiful Outer Banks, which I'm going to talk more about Andy Griffith too, with this great book, Manio, his Mayberry. But what is this? This is 60% chance for the next 4 days. Most of it's in the afternoon with the heating of the day. But oh, lo and behold, when it rains, it's going to pour. That's how it works around here, especially when you have high dew points. You need some evidence? Take a look at this. Looky. I see some green, but not a lot in the next 24 hours. But once we head to Friday, once we hit Saturday, I'm looking at that clock. What clock are you looking at? I'm looking right up here. Let's see if I can circle. That's the clock. That's Saturday. About an inch has fallen cumulatively in the south side of southeast Virginia. Maybe a quarter inch to a half inch in the Outer Banks. But let's go further. Let's go to Sunday at 11. Shazam! 2 inches in purple? It's a possibility. Could find some locally higher amounts than 2 inches. So it's like, it's kind of like, as I come back on camera a second and clear off my telestrator, one of the fun things about this is that, it's like a car wash sponge. It's loaded with moisture. It's moisture rich. It just squeezes out, right? And you get flooding, you get big puddles. That's the type of environment that we're going to be working with for 4 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It's not a popular message, but it's the message I have to deliver so that you're forewarned, so you're prepared. Another regional look of the same model suggests about that 1.9 Norfolk, about an inch in Cape Charles, and down toward Raleigh, about 1.5 inches. How about the Eastern Shore tomorrow? 87 for Bloxham. And about 83 for Cape Charles, beautiful Cape Charles, and 84 in Exmoor. If you're in the Outer Banks tomorrow, I'm looking at Kill Devil Hills at 83, Manio, 83 degrees, and our friends in Rodanthe, about 83 degrees, Ocracoke, about 81 degrees. If you've got a comment, I would love to say hi to you. I know there's some bashful people out there. I really am looking for these comments. I see a note that said, this is perfect for the garden, moms and dads. I thank you for that. Is that V.V. Moore, Leary? Did I say that right? Great to see you here. I think you're the first time I've seen your comment on here, but if you've left a comment before and I didn't put it on the screen, let's get a picture in there for you. It could be a picture of your cat or dog. I'm cool with that. But let's recognize you for coming on here and let me know by way of your comment. Oh, I got to keep moving. It's 7:57. Storm Prediction Center, as we wrap up the weather portion of this, we're going to get to the Manio, and the Mayberry, my Mayberry, in just a moment. Notice the colors. We've already kind of, called out the fact that we had a level 1 issued at 12:40 this afternoon, and we had hail 2 hours later. But notice that there are some hot spots through 8 o'clock tomorrow. That's through 12Z. We keep time and weather through Zulu time. But Houston could have some scattered severe storms tonight through tomorrow morning. Patches of that around Salt Lake City, maybe Casper, Wyoming, and back toward maybe northern Iowa. Yellow would be scattered severe storms. And then all of a sudden, this patch of color came out of seems like nowhere. But it's here, and it covers Wilmington, and it covers a good part of eastern North Carolina right through 8 o'clock tomorrow. But if you have military family, or you're in the military, you got family other parts, let me show you tomorrow. Thursday, there's going to be some growing concern for severe weather, isolated as it may be, in Arkansas, in central Texas, parts of Nebraska, and southern sections of Minnesota. But you can see Memphis is included, Houston's included, just north of Omaha, and Minneapolis-St. Paul may have some isolated severe storms Thursday. This is coming by way of our friends from the Storm Prediction Center, and they have a threat on Friday that's going to be out west. So places like western Nebraska, western Kansas, scattered severe storms are more likely there, and maybe isolated for Great Falls, Montana, if you have family that are there, or maybe you're traveling in that direction. Oklahoma City, North Texas, isolated storms, a possibility. You got another note? I would love to say hi to you. I got a note here says, Kimberly, she wants to be recognized. I want to recognize Kimberly. Woohoo, she's here. She says hello. And I love the fact that she put those extra O's, because that's good for emphasis. I think we kind of get that point, but I love the fact that she's figured this out. See, her smiling face is there, and we get to see you in living color. I love it. Keep it coming. Clear off the telestrator. But as I wrap up the weather portion of this, it's now 7:59. There's no severe threat here on Friday, but let me just kind of throw this out there. It's a big, bold prediction, Aldrich. It could change. Not just because it changed today, but because of these high dew points, because of a stalled system. Don't be surprised. if we're suddenly under a level 1 or level 2 Friday or Saturday, or more than just those 2 days, because things are going to evolve. And that's what we can anticipate. 11 o'clock tonight is clear as a bell. 11 o'clock, there's no worries tonight. But tomorrow morning, you're out the door and you think, oh, I know what this is like. It starts quiet, but then all of a sudden it gets active. Not tomorrow. Look at this is 7 a.m. This is noontime. Nothing but a few wispy clouds. A high, thin, cirrus clouds. That's it. Oh, and there's a stray shower in Virginia Beach, but pay no attention to the 3 o'clock output, because by the time we hit 5 o'clock, it's well to the south. So I think we're going to be okay tomorrow. I would encourage you to seize the day, since I'm on the Carpe Diem Dead Poet Society theme today. Seize the day, my friend, because tomorrow is the day to get out and embrace it. Look at that. 7 a.m. Friday looks cloudier, but then all of a sudden those storms come back to the Exmoor, Cape Charles, south of Elizabeth City and Duck. Some of these red spots will be damaging wind, downpours, hail, the whole 9 yards. That's why I think Friday will be changeable. We don't have coloring from the Storm Prediction Center yet, but I'm going to make my own forecast to tell you, be prepared for severe weather on Friday and Saturday. And maybe beyond that, because this pattern's not going to move. If you like today, you'll love it tomorrow. It's one of those things, it's just going to linger. And look how nasty that storm looks like at 11 o'clock on Friday. So I want to wrap things up. 71 tonight for South Side. 69 Peninsula, 70 for North Carolina. Highs tomorrow may very well be about 89 for Portsmouth, 91 for Suffolk, 90 for Chesapeake and Moyock, 89 degrees. My expectation for you. And Corolla, 81 degrees, 83 for Nags Head. Tomorrow afternoon, we're about 89 in the South Side area, Peninsula about 86. And here is your first warning, WTKR News 3 7-day forecast, 87 on Friday. I see a 60%, 60%, 60%. Oh, dear old dad, you'll get through it. He's been through worse with storms. But then it's spotty again on Tuesday. So if you were to kind of pair this up, which I'll try and do here, you take this day, tomorrow, and Tuesday, they're your gems, right, of the next 7. If you've got a plan, I don't know, something in the garden or whatever you're doing, maybe a beach day, those would probably be your better days if you don't want to be worried about what's happening in the skies. And speaking of the skies, I got some angry clouds from our Virginia Beach picture from Don Wilson. This was taken a while ago. I kind of thought it was neat. Thought we'd keep on the theme of storminess. And he is one of our WTKR photographers Facebook group. And the historic triangle. You know about the triangle, don't you? That's the Colonial Williamsburg, historic Jamestown, Yorktown battlefield. This area had some dark clouds from Tammy, and our friend Elizabeth in Norfolk captured these cool pictures. So that is the forecast in a nutshell. Let me check back with you. And again, don't forget about the cheesy bread. I'm going to get back into the nuts and bolts of the Mayberry here in just a moment. So bear with me. That cheesy code, promo code is WTKR Cheesy. First 100. You could have it on its way now. I mean, unless you're watching it on your phone and you're in the car, if you're in the vehicle, but you have to use these 5 locations. All right, coming back on camera here. I've been waiting to do this for a while. Let me see. Were there any comments? I see. Oh, Vivi's very complimentary. Let's put her on the screen. She says she loves my energy. You know what? I love the fact that you would spend this time with me, right? We spend so much time as a country scrolling on the phone that I figured I might as well give you some good content. And today, if you liked yesterday, and I can see from the views, it's taking a life of its own, you're going to love what I'm going to share with you. My key here was the people we meet, the people that we hang out with, it helps shape who we are. And I said yesterday, just to recap, I won't go through all the pictures, but I wanted to show you this. The reason all this got started is that when I came to WTKR, and I want to thank Phoebe for her note there, I was approached, as I'm going to put this back in motion. Let's set the tone, right? Let's reset. Okay, now there's popcorn, we're giving away pizza and we're giving away cheesy bread. But the reason I point this out is that your Mayberry, your background, your childhood memories are different than mine. I just happen to live in a state, second smallest state in the Union, known as Delaware. 3 counties, and I had a very famous mom in her day, which may, if you're just joining us, it's going to be surprising. But let me just say, somebody came up to me after about 10 days on this job, the WTKR job, when Patrick Rocky retired. I actually had someone within the building come up to me and said, hey, were you on a Matlock episode? And I kind of jokingly said, you mean with Kathy Bates? And they said, no, silly, Andy Griffith. And I said, yeah, but it was many, many, many years ago. Turns out, this is what they found. I didn't know this, but when my episode with Andy Griffith, and there's another picture of me on the left, Andy was actually reading a magazine with News 3 on it. Now, why is that remarkable? Well, it happens to be 32 years ago. Someone said that was like a 32-year. I'm getting goosebumps. That's like a 32-year-old forecast that came true. And I said, life doesn't work like that, or does it? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So I had to explain to a lot of the fans here, like, I thought you were a weather guy. I am a weather guy. I've rubbed shoulders with some of the best of them. I've shown you those pictures as well. Some of the people that I've hung out with include the Jim Cantoris. He's in the bottom right. I've hung out with the Ginger Z's of the world. Weather has been my focus, but what's confusing to some people is that you live in a parallel universe. I kind of do, because most of my life I spent in performance and professional acting. And I explain why, because I had a mom that was in the Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA and other things, and so that was rubbing off on me. That was part of my Mayberry. But the other half was focused on weather and meteorology. So they both kind of coexisted at the same time. And so, long story made short, I told you yesterday that my mom had to get me off, we didn't have she had to get me to the daycare. We didn't have daycare. So she said, I'm going to take you to Philadelphia. I'm doing a runway modeling show. And I said, a runway what? I'm like 4 years old. My mom had won 14 pageants. She was Miss USA. She was Miss USA, Miss World. She placed 5th runner-up in 1961, 62. She had Bob Hope as a judge. This is him in the middle. Bob Hope being very friendly to the military. She was doing runway modeling. This is when she was 19, by the way. So when she was in her 30s, and I'm a young lad here with the silly bowl cut, I 10 years later got interested in acting. Not a surprise. What's really amazing is this picture. This is a book that's very hard to find. She did receive the key to the city of Huntington. She was Barney Fife. She got the honorary sheriff badge, which the Democratic mayor of Huntington thought that was hilarious. But I finally, after 24 years, and I'm very proud of this, finally got my mom onto the Huntington Wall of Fame. That's my mom today. The Wall of Fame has been around since 1987. She got recognized. She was even on the city. You could see her last March, a couple of months ago. This is my dad here since it's Dad's Day. So coming up. So my parents rubbed off on me in many ways. So I know this is kind of like if you didn't catch the episode last time. So if you fast forward about 10 years, I got involved with candlelight dinner theater. I was doing fencing, the foil, the saber. I was doing improv. I went to New York, so on an Amtrak train quite a bit to New York. And by the time I was a University of Delaware student, because I transferred to Chapel Hill, I had lots of credits. Scene study. Do you remember, have you ever seen Christmas Vacation? Bill Hickey, William Hickey, he's the guy with the hair that catches on fire, and there's a squirrel, and he's smoking a stogie. He was actually, that summer of '89, I was in New York, I was taking his weekly class. I even went up to the Catskills, paid for it, but went to a workshop with Joanne Woodward, Paul Newman's wife, Academy Award winning, very accomplished. She looked at me, she said, didn't really tell you you're kind of like a young Jimmy Stewart. I guess now I'm an old Jimmy Stewart. I mean, I don't know, maybe so. But what's funny about this whole experience is that these things build up in your Mayberry, what your experience has been. So I go to New York, I auditioned for Knox Overstreet in Dead Poets Society. Didn't get it, went to a much more deserving fellow with Josh Charles, who did a great job. He's the guy who gets punched in the eye, he has this girl he likes. But this movie, Dead Poets Society, so I'll put Robin's picture on the screen, is about a coming of age. It's a coming of age movie, as many of you have probably seen it, no spoiler alert, but they filmed it on a property, St. Andrew's School, in Middletown, Delaware, back in late 1988. And what's amazing is I'm working with my Rochesterian Kodak disc camera. So it's a little blurry. They're not the greatest of pictures. But here's what's funny. They asked me, because I do the background. So you got to go from this picture, right? Because I was in the Madlock. That was 93. But if you go back between this point and where am I here? Yep, there it is. To this, I got very involved with soccer. That's me on the right. Now, why is this important? Because there's a soccer scene in Dead Poets Society. Are you with me now? It's like, oh, now the light bulb is figuring this out. Okay, so I'm winning all sorts because that's all I did. I mean, before there was acting, I just played soccer. I got an attic full of trophies from like Bethesda, Maryland, Poughkeepsie, New York. We were a traveling soccer team because we only have 3 counties in Delaware. It was like under 12 champ. And yes, the bowl cut, a big problem. So I go to find out after I didn't get the part for Knox Overstreet, and that was fine. I found out from Howard Fewer, the casting director. He says, Robin Williams is going to star in this movie, directed by Peter Weir, and he's going to go to Delaware. I was like, we've never had a movie like this, Delaware. And they said, and they're going to be looking for soccer players. I got chills. I said, I play soccer. And so what happens? They said, well, we've got to give you a haircut. And if you see my old picture here, probably was overdue for a haircut. But it wasn't just a normal haircut. They said, we got to give you a flat top, 1950 style. So there we go. Ready? That's me. Where are you? Oh, it's fast. You got to look quick. That's me, right? I'm on the opposite team, and you could roller skate off my flat top. It took me like 2 months to grow my hair back. It's all good, right? It's all good. So what I love about my Mayberry is that I get to be part of a coming-of-age movie in 1988, which came out in 89, and I got to hang out with the likes of Robin Williams, who, like all superstars, they're complex because everybody wants a piece of your action. They want to talk to you. They want to be your friend. That's just part of nature. That's what happens. But my first exposure, because I got to work on it for, you ready for this? 2 weeks. I said, I'll let you cut my hair if you can employ me for 2 weeks. And they said, I'm in. And they had the authentic barber and like, took it all up. So this is me, and you're going to like, how do I know it's you? Because who else would be silly enough to tell you this is me? I'm the guy with the dog. The story, the AD says, hey, I want to give you some dog biscuits. And that's what happened. Dog biscuits. I had pockets full of dog biscuits. Stay in the frame. That was the assignment. I said, I think I can do it. This wasn't my dog. The cat I showed you earlier, that was my cat. This dog, I don't know whose dog it was, but it just happened to be wandering St. Andrew's School, which they decided to set this location, and they said, hey, would you mind doing it? So I was walking by windows. I was always blurry. But until that soccer game, I'm walking out to the field, and what was amazing is I found out after lunch, after craft services, I'm actually walking the field, and I'm thinking I'm alone. Robin's right beside me. I'm walking out, I look over, and for like 30 seconds, he's walking out to that soccer field. I'm already there. I thought it was amazing. And I said, hey, Robin. And he goes, he had an introverted side, and boy, when he came on, boy, was he on. That's my transition. You ready for this? Have you seen this picture? This was like when they were filming the big scene in the church, some of the earlier scenes. But he walks in to the auditorium where all the measly extras are hanging. Robin gave back a lot. Many of you know he was like with Comic Relief. He comes into the auditorium with all the extras, and he comes out, starts shaking hands, and he does a complete improv. On that TV screen, yes, that's what the TV looked like back then. We were watching the Eagles and Chicago Bears Fog Bowl. It was a very notorious, famous Fog Bowl football game. The game had ended. He comes out, does a 25-minute set. Total improv, had all of us laughing hysterically. Is that cool? And then these two other extras, I didn't know who they were, they come out, he's probably 6 or 7 minutes into his routine, and in the classic Robin Williams style, he says, oh, nice to see you. And he was like, hey, it's nice to see you, you're late, sit down. I mean, everybody was just enthralled, the fact that he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that, but he wanted to do that. That was who Robin was, at least my experience, and some people have different experiences. So, a little bit of my Mayberry. I mentioned the fact that I was in Manio. You said, why are we talking about this? Because we focus here at WTKR on spotlights. We like to focus on the towns that you're in. I'm going to come, more likely than not, at some point to your town. And that's what I want to do. I take about 80 pictures. That's all Facebook allows me to post in one post. Take 80 pictures of Manio. I did some 80 from Matthews, Exmoor, Franklin, Edenton, Moyock, Smithfield, Poquoson. Tell me where you want me to go next. And I want to spotlight your town. Because I think we all desire to be recognized, right? Andy Griffith in this book talks about he got a Grammy for a country gospel album. He didn't win a Tony or an Oscar, but he was grateful to be recognized for all the things he did. And speaking of which, as I wrap it up, tomorrow, I've obviously gone long. Tomorrow I'm going to get to Burt Reynolds. This was his last film in Knoxville. I got a chance to work with him. And I had a superstar. He was a reluctant superstar, but my high school buddy had the #1 movie in America many years ago, but he's a superstar in my book, Before and After. So these are the things I just wanted to share with you. Yes, I'm still grounded in weather. Mike Brennan, the director of the Hurricane Center, went to NC State with me. As I said, I was in Norfolk when I met Ginger Z. This was in Norfolk. This is what's really uncanny. That's Jim Cantori there. That's me over here. This is at the waterfront. I had never been to Norfolk, but this was what year? This was 2016. And I could tell you it's Norfolk because I was a presenter, and this is kind of what I do. So yes, was it weird that I happened to have a magazine where Kurt Williams happens to be on it? Maybe so. I didn't mean to put that on Mandy. But that Outer Banks magazine, the publication owner, happened to be a friend of Andy, and I think he was wanting to promote that. So that's just kind of weird. He had 9 seasons. And the last 3, 7, 8, 9, he did primarily in Wilmington, so he could fly home to Manteo, which was his Mayberry. So I went along, but tomorrow I'll wrap this up, and I promise we'll come to your town. It'll be just weather, but I thought this was the one opportunity I could share, tell the story that I would rather you hear it from me than hear it somewhere on the internet. So I still love weather, still love the acting thing, the performance thing, and I think they kind of work together, don't you, right? It's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You work with Andy worked with Ron Howard, Apollo 13, there's Kevin Bacon. I guess I'm 3 degrees. I don't know how that parlor game works, but someone might say there's a connection. We'll see. I've never met Ron Howard, but I'm a big fan of his movies. All right, anything else? Yeah, last thing to say is we'll see you next time. Make sure, just to remind you, keep the conversation going. It doesn't matter, it doesn't really matter if the weather is sunny or it's serious. Every day is a gift, and make the most of it in your neighborhood. See you tomorrow.